The exact advice that I built my entire business on is the same advice that almost destroyed it. Grind harder, work more hours, out hustle everyone. Look, I believed all of it. And honestly, I took about 20 days off my entire first year coaching. 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And look, it worked, okay? Right up until the point that it kind of didn't. Because here's what really no one tells you about the grind. It helps you get to one level, and then it quickly starts taking everything back. Your energy, your focus, and more importantly, the quality of your actual work. So for the next few minutes here, I'm going to show you the exact moment that I actually personally realized this and what I do differently now to make around, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a month. And the one hard rule that keeps this from turning into, a lazy excuse. Because most of what you've been told about like the hustle is only about half true. And the half that is wrong is the half that actually burns people out before they ever even make it. Let me be honest about something first, because I do not want you to hear this the wrong way. The grind worked. My first year in this, I was obsessed. Like, I woke up thinking about the business and I went to sleep thinking about the business. I pulled 8, 10, and even tracked a 16-hour day, 7 days a week. I said no to almost everything. Trips, hangouts, birthdays. I cut people off who were pulling me sideways. Retake. I took off only about 20 days out of the entire year, and I'm pretty sure that it wasn't even that many. And look, I would do it again, because when you are starting from zero, effort is the only lever that you actually have. You do not have a team. You do not have systems. You do not have a name that people trust you. All you have is your own time, and how hard are you willing to work it? So, look, I worked it. And it took me from nothing to a real business. Real clients, real money coming in every single month. But here's the trap though. When one thing gets you to your first win, your brain automatically locks onto it. Then it decides that that thing is the answer forever. So the more you do it, the more hours, the more grind, the more output, you assume that the line just keeps going up if you keep pushing harder. And that is exactly where it broke me. Now, there is a line I heard once that honestly rewired how I think about all of this. The way you get to one level is almost never the way that you get to the next. The grind got me to level 1, right? But when I tried to get to level 2 by just continuing to grind harder, nothing really moved. And in fact, it honestly just got worse. I was putting in more hours than ever before. And the money did not move a single dollar. I was tired all the time, so the work I was producing was actually getting worse. I was making sloppy decisions because I had never actually the space to think. I was so deep into doing the actual work that I never stepped back to even look at whether or not it was the actual right work to be doing. And that is the part that this whole hustle culture thing never really warns you about. Past a certain point, more hours, they don't add. They actually subtract. Now, I was treating effort like a bottleneck. Like if I just poured more into myself, more would come out of the other side. But effort was not the bottleneck anymore. Leverage was. Systems were. You see, the stuff that actually multiplies your time instead of just spending more of it. And this is the same disease I see in almost every creator I talk to. They think the answer is always more. More content, more posting, more hours at the desk. They are grinding harder inside of a machine that was never actually built to scale in the first place. You see, you simply cannot out-hustle a broken system. You will just break yourself in the process. So here's what actually changed for me. I stopped optimizing for intensity and I started optimizing for longevity. Now, the new question was not about how hard I could go today. It was actually, how do I stay in the game for 10 more years without burning right into the ground? And now that one change flipped everything, because this is a long game. The people who win are not the ones who sprint the hardest for a year. They're actually the ones who are still standing, still sharp, and still building 5 years after everyone else around them had quit. So now I want to be super clear with you because people always hear this part wrong. I still work 7 days a week, okay? That has not changed. What changed is how I work 7 days a week. I built leverage, I built systems, and I actually brought the right people in so that way my hours multiplied instead of just stacking up. Saturday morning, I get to go play paddle or sit by the pool for a couple hours, and then I work in the evening. You see, the work still gets done. I'm just not setting myself on fire to actually achieve it. Now, here is the simplest way that I can put it. For that entire first year, I was the machine. Every single dollar ran through my two hands and my calendar. The actual shift was deciding to build the machine instead of just being it. And that is, I think, the entire difference between a creator and an operator. And it is honestly the difference between a job that pays well and a business that actually runs itself. So what I want you to do is look around. Those people who are at the top are on purpose. Alex Hormozy pulled back, after now he's saying he has a kid on purpose, because he's playing the 30-year game, not a 30-day one. Iman Gadzhi, a personal mentor of mine, actually runs his life in this monk mode model, 6 weeks all in, 6 weeks pulled back, over and over and over again. You see, these are not lazy people. These are people that you've actually probably looked up to and who have figured out that burning out is not a badge. It is a bill that comes due much later. So intensity feels productive, I get it, but longevity actually is. Now, here's the part that I need you to actually hear, because without it, everything I just said becomes a permission slip to just be soft on yourself. And look, that's not what this is. You have to earn the right to optimize. So look at me. If you're sitting there right now and you have made $0 in this, you have a 9 to 5, and you have not built any real skills yet, then none of what I said applied to you today, at least not yet. You see, you do not get to talk about work-life balance and longevity when you haven't even built anything to balance. See, that's not wisdom. That is just an absolute excuse dressed up in, pretty language. So look, if that's you, then your job is super simple. I need you to bust your ass 12 hours a day, nights and weekends after the day job. Learn the skill, get the first clients, and do not complain about it, because every single person who ever made it did that part first. Look, the grind is like the entry fee, if you will. You have to pay it. Nobody can skip it. The mistake is not grinding. The mistake is grinding forever. Believing that consistency and effort alone will eventually pay off if you just keep your head down long enough. They will not by themselves at least. Effort gets you in the door. Leverage is what gets you into the next room. And if you never make that switch, you just grind at the same level until you resent the whole entire thing. Now, look, I make anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 a month now consistently for the last year or so. And what I'll tell you honestly is that the money is not the part that changed my life. The part that ultimately changed my life is now that I own my time again. See, I do not answer to anyone for where I am at 10 in the morning on a Tuesday. I built something that actually runs on a system and leverage instead of running purely on how many hours I'm willing to bleed. And look, that is the actual prize, okay? Not the number. The prize is just the scoreboard. I have personally watched a client of mine walk away from a doctorate that she had already earned because it was never about the money. It was about wanting to own her life. I have watched another client go from owning a job that ate every single hour of what we had to owning an actual business that gives him those hours back. That is the whole entire point of building the machine. Not so you can grind forever, so that one day you simply don't have to. So look, grind like your life depends on it in the beginning, because it kind of does. Then build the leverage that lets you go out of the grind. That is the order. Skip either half and you will lose. If this is something for you, then don't stop here, because knowing you need leverage is useless until you know what to actually build first. That is the exact video for you, and that's linked in the description below, where I actually break down where your offer should live and the systems that let you stop trading every single hour for every dollar. Go ahead and check that one out now, and I will see you